Yes, hello everybody. Welcome to this session, which is going to be very exciting. Exciting in the sense that we're looking at the job specifications of the Directorate of Academic Planning, and we're looking at challenges that face the Directorate, and we're going to be offering solutions. We brought three experts in the area who have seen it all, more or less. They'll be sharing their experiences and the knowledge with us. Ladies first, they say. So I'm happy to introduce Professor Rosemary Olubor from the great University of Benin, UNIBEN. She's a long-standing professor, almost like 50 years as professor. So, she was the director of the Institute of Education of University of Benin from 2010 to 2012. I have Professor Larson Gbadamosi, a very great educator, a great educational manager. Actually, all of them are in educational management, educational planning. One of them has been director of academic planning. I'm introducing now Professor Larson Gbadamosi, who was Dean of Education of Olabisi Onabanjo University. That university is one of the best around. And he was Dean from 2010 to 2012. So now my Oga be that, my Oga, Professor Larson Gbadamosi. So, and the last but not the least, we're going to the southern part. That's Professor John Undie. Professor John Undie is of the University of Calabar. He's director of academic planning. He is a professor of educational management too. So we are happy to have all of them. The first, this presentation has three segments. The first is on the job specifications of the Directorate of Academic Planning. And then we'll look at challenges, then we'll look at solutions. So we're going to go very fast. We will take on the job specifications. And as we're doing ladies first, we're going to take Professor Rosemary Olubor to give us her thoughts on the job specifications of the Directorate Academic Planning. Yes, again, over to you, Professor Rosemary Olubor, for your job specifications.
Yes, thank you, Prof. The Directorate of Academic Planning is established purposely to coordinate the academic programs of the universities, streamline their growth and development, and avoid unnecessary duplication of programs. This is in a nutshell what it is, but specifically, it is expected to ensure that the institution does not operate below the stipulated minimum standard in terms of physical facility provision, programs of study, student welfare, and staff development. If this is the case, then the unit's DAP is not set up to be active only during accreditation. However, accreditation and resource verification attempts to sum up the elements of minimum standard.
Yes, please go on, ma'am. Please go on.
Generally, the academic planning unit ensures that quality and international standards permeate all the conceptions and activities of the university, starting with its vision, mission, and strategic objectives, and cutting across its operations in the areas of teaching, learning, research, community service, student admission and registration, staff employment, academic programs, curricular contents, human and material resources, and other related matters. These are all accreditation issues.
Okay, now before we go to the challenges, we've got to take the perspectives of the others in the panel, on the panel. So I will move on now to Professor Larson Gbadamosi.
The Directorate of Academic Planning in any university covers basically these job specifications: academic standard, monitoring and evaluation. 2, data management and statistics. 3, open education resources. 4, quality assurance. And lastly, the strategic planning. To guide and monitor the university's activities in accordance with the statutory goals, mission, and vision of the university, preparing and revising the academic brief of the university, dealing with the NUC matters, resource and academic programs planning, and attending to academic development matters and quality assurance, ensuring that the academic processes in the university are of national and international respected standard through the promotion of quality enhancement practices in the academic programming of the university. Further, ensuring the adequate provision of a conducive teaching, learning, and research environment for staff and students, determination of adequate staff strength and requirement to guide against any possible excess staffing and its attendant resource, preparation, computerization, and publication of data on students' admission, enrollment projections, and determination of full-time equivalent, the FTE, supply of staff and students data to NUC when required, supply of staff and student data for university annual budgets.
All right, so we can see the other job specifications that Professor Larson Gbadamosi has given to us here. You can read this on the screen. And there are quite a lot more. Regular liaison and consultation with deans, registrar, bursar, university librarians, and the rest.
Data
Assisting the university, yes, appraisal and processing of requests for affiliation from other tertiary institutions, attendance. I'm helping him now to read through all of this. 7, as secretariat to the academic planning committee. Still more job specifications, sourcing for linkages and collaborations with other universities for human resource capacity building and knowledge transfer, establish an open license framework in the university, collaborate with institutions, provide outreach and community services. The directorate liaises with the National Universities Commission on behalf of the university and discharges any other duty assigned by the Vice Chancellor. Wonderful. Well done, Professor Larson Gbadamosi. So let's turn on now to Professor John Undie of the University of Calabar. So we're turning now to Professor John Undie of the University of Calabar to share his thoughts with us on the job specification of the Director of Academic Planning. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. The job specification of the Director of Academic Planning are numerous. For want of time, we'll take a look at few of them. The job of the Director of Academic Planning is essentially to guide the university, guide the university Vice Chancellor on the parameters of the National University Commission on how to coordinate and run the universities in accordance so that the end users of the universities will also comply. The Director of Academic Planning also responds to the Vice Chancellor for the development of the same unit. The unit also serves as a quality control and guiding each other unit to operate in line with the academic brief of the institution. It's the duty of the Director of Academic Planning to also seek, where necessary, some clarification from the National University Commission on matters that require implementation level and give such clarification to the Vice Chancellor and to the appropriation of the university that requires such clarifications also. And also to keep abreast these academic policies, as well as to ensure that the end users are familiar with all the policies and comply with them as appropriate. The duties are also demands that we place an advisory role to appropriate bodies whenever required, such as during such meeting, the Senate Academic Planning Committee, University Management, University Board of Research, etc. We also coordinate and liaise with these bodies and communicate any new information on academic policy and other matters that will be useful to the universities, the University Senate, the university administration, and even the entire university itself. That will also perform or also analyze data from the students, from the staff that will aid the overall performance of the university. Based on these, the director of academic planning also, as the case may be, also may want to identify the problems that are also confronting the directorate, and also offer for solution as appropriate to the university. Administratively, it is the duty of the director to ensure that various universities
actively involved in the management information system of the university.
Be actively involved in the management information. Let me put one segment of the Vice Chancellor's office.
Yes, owing to the fact that the Director of Academic Planning and Control Unit works very closely with all
as
segments
well
of the vice
other officers.
Oh, yes.
As well as other stakeholders in the system.
All right. So, several other functions are coming up here. Director can be assigned, for instance, committee duties in the Vice Chancellor's office, Vice Chancellor's office, and others, as we can see on the screen. These functions of Director of Academic Planning may seem to be a mirage where the Vice Chancellor is negligent in providing the enabling climate for these acolytes to function, and has gone ahead to give us the duties of the different sections: academic resource planning section, academic program feedback mechanism, and the rest, process planning, research statistics. So these are very expansive treatment of the Directorate of Academic Planning. We'll come to challenges very shortly. And first, let me thank all my three experts for giving us the job specifications. Or the challenges, we're going to begin with still doing ladies first. Professor Roosevelt Olubor, who will tell us what the challenges are facing the Directorate of Academic Planning. Yeah, so we're beginning with Professor Roosevelt Olubor, who will give us the challenges encountered by the Directorate of Academic Planning. So, Professor Olubor, you have the floor.
Okay. Because of the responsibilities as spelled out earlier of this directorate, we find that the challenges they encounter include: one, paucity of funds. Funds are required to purchase computers, consumables, vehicles, and furniture items. For instance, laptops are required to store information and other devices too. Secondly, there's this lack of mobility to visit the faculties and request for data, and lack of manpower to collect data from the various faculties. You need people to be in charge of these faculties, harvest data from them. Then lack of training in data management and storage. If the data are not properly received and stored, they may eventually not be of any help to the department. Then the low morale of staff of Directorate of Academic Planning. You find that some chief executives of Nigerian universities often bring in professors from the faculties to head the units when there is vacancy. And then other responsibilities of the directorate appear to be neglected, such as establishing academic linkages and collaborative efforts with universities within and outside the country, and sourcing for fellowships and scholarships for students.
Yeah, I think it's best we'll couple the challenges with solutions rather than get to the other. So, Madam, why don't you take on the solutions to these challenges that you have enumerated?
Yes, the solutions to these challenges include: one, funds should be made available to procure vehicles, computers, including laptops, furniture. And I'm proposing that PEP fund may need to accommodate the Academic Planning Directorate in its disbursement of funds. The data from Academic Planning Directorate can also assess PEP fund in its planning. Secondly, staff of the directorates should be assigned to different faculties as liaison staff to gather data, in fact, harvest data and monitor the data gathering process regularly. I'm proposing that there should be there are 2 semesters in a session, so I propose that data could be collected at the beginning of first semester and at the end of second semester. This should be done every year and not only during accreditation. The implication is that adequate staff need to be employed and armed with computers. And professionals in data management need to be invited to train the personnel in this directorate in data management. Then there should be opportunity for staff to aspire to the position of Director of Academic Planning. Just as the library has, for continuity, just as the library has academic staff in their units, academic planning units should also have academic staff. Then the directorate should carry out its responsibilities in the areas of establishing linkages with universities within and outside the country, sourcing for fellowship for students. And as I said earlier, this may require more staff with experience in these areas. The stated challenges that solutions can also be seen as suggestions. Others include that there is need for the directorate to periodically organize seminars for newly appointed staff, both academic and non-academic, of the faculties, centers, the institutes, and also bring to the knowledge of the academic staff list of publication outlets and grant awarding bodies. The old staff also require refresher course, and this should be organized by the director.
Thank you so very much, our wonderful mommy, Professor Roosevelt Olubor, for the rich experience which we can see flow through your presentations, the job specifications, the challenges, and the solutions. So we're going now to Olabisi Onabanjo University, OU, and take on the challenges and the solutions together. And let's make this very brisk. My pleasure to invite Professor Larson Gbadamosi. Yes, okay, please get on with the challenges, Professor Gbadamosi.
Okay. The challenges facing the Directorate of Academic Planning include inadequate skilled personnel. Many people don't like any work that will include quantitative techniques.
Oh, yes.
I know Professor Kebukola will be
at home. At home, yes, of course. You also at home. We are at home with that.
The computer area. And the core competence is the quantitative techniques.
Oh, yes.
So that's one of the problems. And for this, I suggest that professors of educational planning and those in the those who are having areas with quantitative techniques should be made to be part of the directorate. Then funding, nothing in this world that is not backed up with funds that will be okay. Now that a lot of money will be expended on various consumable and non-consumable materials for the academic planning directorate, a lot of funds is very necessary. And the university should always make adequate vote in the budget to the Directorate of Academic Planning. More so from their IGR, from the university IGR, we should be able to have enough for the Directorate of Academic Planning. Then the population is really growing, and this has led to excessive enrollment. And this also connects to more resources to be acquired, and this serves as problem for the academic planning. Then the political factor, a lot of intrigues from the political office holders do come, and only Vice Chancellor and Director of Academic Planning that can stay off this and push the political office holders away from disturbing the demand and supply activity of the DAPs. And the only way is to be firm and be follow the budget and follow the quota. The leadership, anywhere we have a vice chancellor that is not well interested in the Directorate of Academic Planning, there will be problem. Because anything anybody wants to employ, he needs to check with the academic planning unit to see if the FTE ratio will take into cognizance of such appointments and not food for the boys. Then curricular of courses, there should be area of core competence. If a university knows that it's not well grounded in a particular course, so that you don't have a lot of courses that you will not be able to really perform excellently well and provide the necessary resources. This should be giving problem to the DAP. Then information. Many a times, gathering of data in this country, even in the various university units, is very, very problematic. In that wise, it is always good to set up an educational management information system that will be in charge of that.
All right, sir. Let's go to the solutions. Apparently, you have been taking the solution, which is very nice. You've been taking the challenges and solutions. Can you go just for 1 minute only? Maybe just read through these solutions, please.
Strategic planning and management. Quality assurance, well put in place, will guide against all this. Government intervention. Government needs to, when you establish a university and you are the visitor, you need to give a lot of necessary funds.
Yes, please go on.
Yeah. Then specialization for excellence, area of core competence.
Yeah, you mentioned this before. So can you
comparative advantage?
Yeah.
Information and communication technology.
Yes.
Efforts should be made to invite experts like Professor Bukola.
I'm coming to your university. I'm coming to your university.
We're always trained.
Thank God.
We're always trained.
Thank God.
Curriculum reform and innovation. Innovativeness is part of it. And adherence to carrying capacity, rationalization programs should also be taken into cognizance. The use of specialized personnel in educational planning and quantitative techniques.
Wonderful. Well done, Professor Gbadamosi. Yeah, you can see Professor Roosevelt is nodding and agreeing with you. And I'm sure when she was presenting, you also nodded and agreed with her. We're moving on now to the last leg of this presentation. That's Professor John Undie, University of Calabar, who will give us the challenges. Just give us a listing of the challenges, knowing that we now have some commonalities in what Professor Roosevelt Olubor and Professor Gbadamosi, have said. So just give us very quickly the challenges from your perspective, and then the solutions. Apology from my end that the segment on the challenges and solutions presented by Professor John Undie missed the recording. So what I'm going to do is to show you what he has on the slides. So Professor John Undie has these as challenges: political interference on the tenureship of the directorate, issues relating to funding, difficulty in offsetting the genuine claims incurred by the directorate, undue pressure and lobbying for staff development, infractions on staff development programs, lack of training relevance in the directorate, and short notices for the directorate to comply. He has solutions to match these challenges. Politics for political interference should be geared towards development of the directorate and university. Improve funding through encouragement of staff to pursue collaborative, innovative research to attract grants. Management of universities must offset genuine claims incurred by the directorate. In fact, towards the end of the presentation, I did remark to Professor John Undie that we're going to let our VC, great Vice Chancellor of Calabar, Professor Obi, to ensure that the genuine claims of the Director of Academic Planning of the University of Calabar offset. You see, the genuine claims solution here does not only apply to the University of Calabar, but all the universities. Academic staff should be given periodic orientation that will reduce lobbying and undue pressure for staff development programs. And universities must encourage the use of training relevance in the directorate and the university at large. The AUC should improve on its notices for the directorate to comply. Apologies again to Professor John Undie for missing out that concluding segment. So on that note, we'll come to the end of this panel presentations on job specifications, challenges, and solutions of for the Directorate of Academic Planning.